So back in 2012, I started selling on Amazon, and our operation got to the mid seven-figure operation. It was getting big, but we were still downloading reports manually from Seller Central. So we wanted to, around 2014, we wanted to figure out a way to connect to the Amazon API directly and pull data through the back end, but that requires a developer and all sorts of problems. And we're going to talk about that today. Hello, my name is Nhan, and this is James Tuxbury. Say hello, James.
Hello, everybody.
We've sold over $80 million on Amazon since 2012. And if you like this content, click like and subscribe to our news channel for insights for Amazon sellers. So, James, you're going to take us through what kind of problems. James is our developer, and he's been working with me since 2014. And we've seen all sorts of problems with the Amazon API. So take us through kind of some of the things you see.
Okay, yeah. So back in the day, we were working with Amazon's API. Back in the day, it was called MWS instead of the current SP-API. Yeah, one of the major issues that we ran into over that time was transitioning from that old system, that MWS API system, to the current SP-API system. Uh, and that was basically a complete rewrite of the system. But beyond that, not just having to switch between those within any of these systems individually, we've all run into all sorts of problems, such as them adding new columns or new calls. So you have an existing call that brings back a certain amount of information or a report, and then they add a new column to that report, and that's now something that you have to
Without
deal with
notice, right?
at times without notice. Yes, they're supposed to, of course, announce all these things ahead of time, and Amazon makes an effort to do that. But over the years, we definitely have seen examples of I don't know if it's a mistake on their end, as in an oversight, or something got shipped early or something. But we've definitely seen cases of things that just changed overnight and were not previously announced.
Yeah.
Which can be a big deal, obviously, because then your reports break, and then you have to obviously fix all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a major issue. Nowadays, they have pre-built libraries that can help on the SP API side, which is really great. That helps out if you're trying to build from scratch, but that's not zero setup either. You still have to, obviously, there's quite a setup process to get all that stuff off the ground. Uh,
Basically, you gotta have a website, a developer, a software developer that knows what they're doing, that knows how to connect to Amazon API to be able to get the data consistently, right?
yes. So nowadays they have those, like we talked about, those pre-built SDKs in different
Yeah.
languages
And this is the
available to you.
website for the SP API there.
Yep. So yeah, so to bring that all back, they do have the pre-built APIs nowadays, but it's not zero setup. There's still some involvement to get all that working and get it off the ground. But now that we've transitioned out of that and we're actually using the SP API, that is just to get your Amazon reports as a seller. The other side of that is the ads API, which is actually a completely separate API. So if you, as a seller, want to get your advertising data, you actually have to also set up the ads API because all that data lives separately from the SP API.
Yeah.
So that's yet another issue that arises with this. So just to continue with some of the other issues that we've noticed over the years, Amazon calling different fields, or the same field rather, in different reports by different names, which can be kind of tedious to deal with. You have to account for all those things individually. Or at times throwing special characters and stuff into field names, which can cause all your stuff to break if you weren't ahead of time, prepared for them to start introducing those characters into
Yeah.
those reports. And then the additional thing that you have to deal with is throttling. So obviously Amazon doesn't want you pulling reports 24/7 constantly nonstop. So they have throttling limits. You can only do different calls. You're limited to only so many calls within a given time frame. Obviously, that varies from call to call and report to report, but they do limit often you can request that information, so you do have to account for that yourself ahead of time. And
Yep.
then the other issue that we've run into, which Amazon has improved over time, but is still an issue, is inconsistent documentation. This is an issue that persists as well on the SP-API side, not just the old school stuff. Yeah, inconsistent documentation. And just the documentation says it works one way, but then in practice it works a different way. Or the documentation says there's only a few options, and then when you actually pull the data, there's actually more stuff in there than what the documentation said, which then you have to deal with manually. And then, so basically, those are the issues that we've had with pulling the data. But once you get through all that and you actually pull the data, you then have to do something with that data once you actually get your hands on it. So you have to parse that data and store it somewhere. You have to account for, like we said, if there is special characters or special cases that you have to do with different reports or whatever. You have to manually, obviously, build those and account for whatever
Yep.
special treatment that you're putting on those reports. And then you take that data and store it somewhere, usually in a SQL database. Some people might store it in like a Google Sheet or something. That's the extra old school way to do it. But yeah, you have to store that data, and then obviously maintain that going forward, whether you want to just have the updated version or you want to keep old copies of old reports. Uh, and then depending on how much data you have, that can also, the storing that stuff adds up over time. So
Yep.
yeah, it can be a part-time job just to maintain and keep track of all this stuff and just keep all the data in line and in place.
So thank you, James, for explaining all the problems that we ran into trying to connect with the Amazon API, in particular SP-API and Add API. When I joined Cellular Labs, Cellular Labs has been downloading and connecting the Amazon API for over 10 years, and for thousands of customers. So we have a lot of experience maintaining the columns. We have to deal with the updates, column exceptions, and we went ahead and built out this under the Profit Genius group. There's this thing called Data Hub, where basically we take the data, we sanitize the data, we make it consistent, and then we push it to a MySQL connector so that you can connect it anywhere where MySQL is accepted, like Looker Studio, or you can use our Google Sheets app and pull the data into Google Sheets. Uh, so it to me that is like basically removing a lot of problems. So with our e-commerce business, we started switching over to the Data Hub leveraging Cellular Labs platform, and we've been doing over that for over 2 years now, and it is much easier and more reliable now. Here's a dashboard of our old reports. These are the kind of the common reports we pull, and we actually have this dashboard to make sure that the dashboard hasn't broken. Like these are the timeframes that it's expected to update, and these are the times last time it was updated. So sometimes we see like 3 or 4 days, 48 hours, and it hasn't been updated. Then that means that James got to go in and fix that. And so ever since we switched to the Cellular Labs Data Hub, we don't have to fix those issues anymore. It used to be like once every few weeks, James have to go in and fix it because one of the reports broken for all the issues we talked about. So back to the MySQL, we sanitized the data. For example, we made it so that all the SKUs are called listing SKUs, or merchant SKUs, also called listing SKUs. So it's consistent across the tables. And so what that does is you can use this MySQL connector to connect to, let's say, like Looker Studio here and build your own dashboard because it's MySQL already. And you can just pull this data and filter it to then slice it the way that you want. And we've also seen big agencies leverage this data hub. where they're connecting hundreds of Amazon accounts. They're maintaining hundreds of Amazon accounts. And so that gets to its own challenge of big data too. But what we've seen, one of the problems that we've seen is like the data getting too slow. And what they've done is they pull that data from our MySQL database using the Data Hub SQL connector here, and they pull that data into BigQuery, and it runs much faster. So those are some of the use cases that I've seen that have used the Data Hub successfully and reliably. Not to mention that at Partsman, which is our e-commerce operation, uses the Data Hub, and it is much more reliable. So if you're interested, go to our website. It's sellerlabs.com and look for our Profit Genius. The product is under Profit Genius because that's the Data Hub product. And sign up, and then you can try it out for yourself and see if we can help solve your data performance problem, so you don't have to hire a full-time developer just to connect to the Amazon API. All right, anything else, James?
Nope, that's it. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you everybody for joining on this video on how we got rid of our Amazon API into the e-commerce, and we'll see you next time.